Our party people, Joe Biden has just signed the debt limit and spending cap bill averting default. Absolutely wonderful and so surprising not.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap.
All right. Cool. So, let's recap, and I'll tell you what's most likely going to happen. First of all, let's appreciate this box that we've had there ever since we figured out where we're going to go, which was right back here in March. Okay? So we'd known we dipped under this trend line one day, that downtrend line that was the bears everything. And once we'd done this move and we came down and everybody was shorting, you know, their grandmothers. Once we popped back up above it, I knew that this was most like an inverted head and shoulders. And then April, we knew it was going to be choppy, and it indeed was. But I've had this here. Why have I had this box here? I've had it ever since we rejected there. Okay, so obviously arriving here, we have an interesting setup where tech, QQQ, Nasdaq has been leading this rally heavily, and everybody's saying, "Oh, tech is over now. Now they're, you know, the bears are sounding like QQQ has never been in worse shape ever before." But I do a lot of this charting on SPX because of, you know, ES and US 500 that you can watch overnight and so forth. And obviously the S&P 500 is King Kong. It's pretty awesome when you hit this box here, and you've had it there, and we even peaked over it once you zoom in here. So now on the hourly, we do have a sell signal. However, there's a lot of signals that are telling me that any pullback isn't going to be the biggest. So obviously here are the things for you to look out for if you pull up SPX. So your resistance on Monday, besides high of day, which is 4290. Now listen to me very closely. Even if we trade a cent above Friday's high on Monday, that means that the rally is not over. And I repeat again, if we trade 1 cent above this high on Monday, it means rally is not over. And I really have a hard time, and I'll show you the dark pool, to believe that we just gap and crap all of Monday. It is a possibility. It's completely a 50-50 possibility here. And then your first price target is here at 4222, because that is the gap. Okay? So you're gonna hit some resistance here, obviously. Actually, this is where the gap is. This is your first line, is 4232. Second is 422. And then there's a few different spots here. For the rally, I'm even okay intraday during the week if we hit 4180. And last line of defense for this rally to continue is 4168. Okay, so you need an alert here. There's your volume shelf here at 485, 4185. Here at 495, 4223, 4232, and 4240. And these are all these levels are potential bounce spots. Okay, so if one of these levels gives, you can short to the next level. That's how this works. Now, obviously, most of Friday we spent inside the box after breaking inside of it. In this box, I spent quite some time back then putting it in there. So this box is a legendary box, and if we can chop inside of this box, the breakout to the upside will be very violent. Now, for Monday, I have early high. Tuesday, I got early high. That does not mean that. That means also that we can, have an early high, sell most of the day. Early high means, these days we've had lately where we're up in the morning, then we sell for 3-4 hours, and then we rally into close. Wednesday, early low. Thursday, early low. Friday, early low. Now, again, Monday's pattern has an early high, right? But we could gap down. It should be a kind of a rally day with a final high in the last hour. But if it doesn't do that, then this is going to retrace, and then it can either be here, here, or here. Going all the way here would be quite a shitting the bed all day type of day. Possible, but I don't see it really. But again, the rally will continue if we can trade even 1 cent higher than Friday's high. Long term, I think we trade much higher, and any pullback, again, remember we have this, let me put it on the weekly, and then let me change this moving average to 89. All right, so any pullback needs to now hold the 89 weekly moving average, which comes in there, you see, at 4172. So any pullback above this is still good. Now you see that it's pulling down, and it's really hard to, in the shit show, predict what the high of June is, because we've already gone through it for what I have. However, we actually closed exactly at my high of June, but we traded above it, so that kind of gives me like, okay, so we hit the high of June on the first day. Is that possible? Yeah, totally. However, I also commented that June can be like April, which means my low of the month is this here. Why is it right there? That is the low of May. I had the same low for June. So with the 89 coming down, okay, let's say it keeps going. By the third week of June, it's gonna be underneath here. And then this has no problem retracing and then rallying and retaking this trend line. And I'm kind of leaning towards that we pop here and then we start retracing. Now we have a few things coming up that are huge. Let me change this. But they are not this week. They are... Yeah, so Monday, let me just go. We have PMI. Okay, that's gonna move the market. Tuesday, nothing's going on. Wednesday, balance of trade, who cares? It's going to be crappy. As you see, there's not a lot of Fed speakers anymore. Thursday, we got jobs. This is going to be huge. China. All right, so there's nothing going on this week. All right, perfect candidate to move the market, in my opinion. Then, okay, it's not on the calendar, but I saw it late Friday. Powell is testifying this Saturday and Sunday. First time ever I've spotted this to be over a weekend. There's clearly a reason for it, okay? And if you go on to the Fed calendar, it's not there. Let's refresh and see if it's there now. Should be. No, because again, these people don't work on the weekend. This is, in my opinion, highly suspect, but I will show you why they're doing this. And then the week after that, FOMC. I'll be trading the 14th, the 15th and 16th I won't be, but I'll be there for FOMC because it's huge, obviously. And then same week as that, we should have CPI, there on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, we are on, I doubt I'll be, if I swing anything into these, they're going to be way out the money and light as fondue because I don't want to be cooked on holiday, nor do I want anybody to get cooked. But we've had pretty good success nailing these before, so we'll see. But yeah, we got PPI same day as FOMC. So these days, you know the drill. Helmet, cup, gloves, maybe socks, axe, shovel, some, bring a lighter. Might even want to bring a bottle. If you have, room in your backpack for a raft, bring it. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be fun, okay? So I will be on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hopefully in tail end of Tuesday. I swung some calls. I'm gonna put a sell on them, and if we open up below, we're gonna go for that gap probably. But I'm thinking maybe we gap up and then we close that gap and we chop inside the box. That would be the best case scenario because that then gives continuation for upside. All right. Enough about that. Here, this just updated, and as I said in my last video, the numbers are not right yet, but now this has updated, and you see here that this fractal's pretty much on it, and I'm still calling for a pullback on Tuesday, Wednesday, with a huge rally into the end of the week. Catalyst can be whatever, doesn't really need a catalyst at this point. It can be just squeezing all the shorts because, again, I've said don't short until Wednesday because I've been seeing this spike on two different things, and the news can have it be whatever, but this Wednesday, let me see here, Thursday, where are we? What's even on the calendar for Wednesday? There's nothing really, unless they want to use this or it's like a news thing. We have the Apple event on Monday. Usually Apple pumps into their events and sells, which they have. So that gives me hope to sell my calls after I land in LA for the pullback. So anyway. So we have that spike on that fractal, and if you look here too, we hit that, we should retrace, and then we should have a pretty sizable rally for about $5, and then start pulling back seriously. And then you have Powell testifying here, right, over the weekend, could pull back. I would expect full. The Fed's gonna hike. The Fed's gonna hike. The Fed's gonna hike. The Fed's gonna hike. CPI is gonna be hot. CPI is gonna be hot. Oh my God, the world's ending. What are we gonna do? Okay, and then you see this rally here. Okay, now I am going to. This market is so shit showy that I'm going to take my chances on some calls into end of Tuesday, and then next time over here, right? This is the old one, but I'm gonna take some calls here, and then I think late next week I'll slap on those puts, because Powell testifying on the weekend does not smell bullish to me at all, and I would think we then pull back to this level here. I would think that we then pull back, to this area here, if not all the way to 417. I would think so. And then I think we rally, and that's when we go to 4330. Okay, unless we hit that early this week, and then we rally from like 417 to maybe like 426. So the high of the month is on Monday, or has been, or it's gonna be Wednesday, Thursday. I think it will be Wednesday, Thursday, but again, we will see what happens. But we're gonna retreat. This is not a place to start buying like shorts that are very, very far out. We're talking a few days timed correctly. Now this is another fractal. This is the dollar. Okay, has been going up. Should start a retrace soon. And if you look at it, we had that pop. I think this could go up to here to 104 and then start a pretty sizable pullback. VIX, obviously, we hit, pretty significant low. Is it gonna go a little lower? Yes, as I mentioned before, this is going to 1410. So we either get that on Monday or we get that Wednesday, Thursday, I would say. Oil, clearly an uptick here. Still pretty weak price action. We got OPEX this weekend. And I swung some Oxylatos. I mean, it's clearly making a cup. Had a small pullback. I would think we could hit 60. If for some reason it breaks above that, it's going to absolutely fly first to the 82 area. And can it do a complete W and go here into the summer? Yeah, it can. I think I'm a few weeks out, very light. I'm also in Home Depot. It basically, the Dow Jones, erased 2 weeks of losses in 2 days, which was pretty crazy. Here, it had been chopping down, and then it absolutely flew, and so did Home Depot and stuff. I mean, it had an insane rally on Friday, but it had been so weak for this whole rally, I wasn't even looking at it. Bitcoin, whatever, over 27, yeehaw. 10-year yield had a sizable move. It's in a good range. Tick actually did close green on the 1 hour and on the 5, so that's pretty cool, but who cares? But now for the interesting stuff. So QQQ, they bought that end of day dip and they bought that SPY dip. So what they did on Friday was very interesting. We had that sell-off, then we had the rally. Then it was virtually impossible to make money all day unless you were scalping, which is like you're scalping on the 5 minute. Sometimes if the setup is slow, one can alert it and all of that stuff. But they're basically by buying the dark pool up slowly, they're holding the price, so they are decaying the options contracts. And again, it was like April all over again. A good setup, unless you take your profit, fast. You have to be in and out really fast. But nevertheless, they bought this up. So unlike Thursday, where they were selling that whole rally, Friday they were buying it back up. Okay, so if we were to absolutely dump on Monday, I doubt that. Maybe this was just to keep the price up, but this is still, I've seen them keep the price up by also selling, as you saw here. Like, yes, we did have that big sell Thursday, but they were still selling after that too. And then they scooped it up right as the bell closed, which was a sizable gap up. So they kept buying it all day. So just keep that in mind. Because again, you gotta inform yourself, and then you gotta play it and leave your bias at the door. We had some good plays. Obviously, we had Meta, and I'm still in Meta. Why do I think Meta? It has had the most incredible recovery of all time, and it still has some room to go to exactly what is that wick? It is at 288. Okay. Can Meta do it this week? Yeah, or next week. Tesla, we played the 215s on Friday, and they hit, which is fantastic, because who would have thought that Tesla 215 would hit? Me. Am I gonna leave it alone? I think I am, and I will show you the reason. Obviously, that was Elon going to China and all that stuff. But I think there's better trades than Tesla. Reason being this dark pool. They are absolutely dumping these shares and have been for quite a while. So unless it has a trend day, I won't be messing with it too much. Apple, again, all the bears out there with their charts and showing fundamentals, and there's nothing wrong with it. Apple shouldn't be at 189 or 180.9, but it is, right? And whether it's pumping into the event, do I think it has a potential of hitting all-time high on Monday at open? Yeah, absolutely. And then it should reject. But is it gonna have a rapid sell-off to 170? No. But it's gonna go to 174, and if it can hold 174, it's gonna continue even higher. Pretty simple. Why are we rallying when the economy and the world is in such shit shape? It's literally because of the breadth of the market. There's so many puts, but they are bought. All the long puts have been bought so far below an SQQ that there's a record amount of puts probably, but they're not bought at the right spot. Okay, so they're there and people are throwing money in it, but the bulls have far easier of a time to move this market up, as you've seen. So throughout the day, we're basing, calls are coming in, calls. Sure, puts too, but the disconnect here is pretty huge. And again, ever since we saw that spike up, which is confirmation every time now, I think we've done it 4 or 5 times, that once that wall of calls come in within 24 hours, you have a sizable rally. So now we know for next time and to watch in June. And again, let me pull this up real quick for you to see. I think that right there is like 410. So we're gonna have a pullback, we're gonna have a rally, then we're gonna have a sizable pullback, then we're gonna have a huge rally, and then we're gonna have a sizable pullback. So expect volatility. Why? Because VIX is so low that it needs to go here between 14 and 20 a few times in June. And I would say it's really important that we keep that in mind so that we don't get caught, you know, feeling too confident, because this is volatility. And the same thing goes for July. And these months are famous for doing this because a lot of people are on vacation and they're swinging. And for the market makers, it's easy to screw people over. Once we have the rally into August and the August sell-off, then we can go a little bit longer and swing here. That's always a good trade. But yeah, this has been just absolutely gold the last few months. This specific seasonal 30 futures stuff. Then I had one more that I wanted to show you guys. Bear with me. Which is really good, and usually has panned out really well. Hold on, let me save this. There we go. Here, this guy. We've broken out of this box, and as you can see, last time we did that was end of last year when we broke to the upside. And what it means is we do get more upside against all odds because these super broad patterns say so. Had we rejected here, which was very likely at that one point, and even the second try, and even the third try rejected, but now we're over it quite clearly. So usually you gotta touch the bottom twice and the top twice, and then the direction it goes, it then moves the next box up there, and it's not gonna be to the downside. The next box here is gonna be to the upside. So I'm gonna start figuring out what the high of the year is going to be, because I thought that until, you know, November, the top is pretty close. But with all these, I know there's a thought here that with the debt ceiling being, you know, pumped up, that the Fed needs to do QT. The Fed's about to unleash an incredible amount of money, which is hugely inflationary, first of all. Second of all, I've been saying this, the market is the last line of defense. I'm not trying to be a perma-bull here. I'm just saying this shows me that, you know, 4,400 is not out of the question. When I would want to say, you know, November, December, but that means that we at some point very soon, which could be FOMC, could be CPI, that we reject hard. Again, I have us going back into this level as worst case scenario. I don't think this year that we will go any lower than 3,800. Like, things that we would need a really bad black swan event, which obviously we're joking around with, for this level to break. I would think we see this late October, and then we have a absolutely massive multi-month rally, which is just buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. That's what this looks like to me from previous years. Okay, and let's just here, while you still have me, since I'll be traveling on Monday, and then it'll take a few days for my rig to be completed. Let me give you the levels for QQQ. QQQ, first level to go would be this here, 353. Next level down is 349, and you don't want QQQ at this point under or 346. So QQQ could be making a Head and Shoulders, and then in the day Tuesday we find ourselves either on the volume shelf or here, and I would then definitely buy the dip, because then we know if we get some upside from that we probably have a rally end of week up here to 4 or 353 from these levels, and then this would be a Head and Shoulders pattern. Okay, did I forget anything? If anything, you guys can write in the chat or DM me until Sunday night, and then I won't be on my computer until I get to a hotel during first half of the day on Monday, unfortunately. So if you really need me, DM me on Twitter. I have that on my phone. But yeah, hope you guys chill on Monday, and if we do, have an early high and we start selling off, sell your calls, you can maybe do some intraday puts. Just know that this market can reverse on any news anytime, and again, I would say that end of day Tuesday, if we've sold into end of day Tuesday, then we start going into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with early lows, and the fractals show me a rally. So if that pans out, we'll be buying the dip and we'll be writing calls into the end of Friday, and then that. Remember, I've said that there's gonna be a Friday when we want to swing puts. Powell testifying on the weekend, fractals showing a size of a pullback. That would be that Friday. Okay, so yeah, so let's keep, anybody see any news, post it in the chat. You know how this shit show works. And end of week next Friday, next week I'll be on as usual. And for the new people, I'm gonna be missing like 5-6 trading days in June, and I've been on every day since we started this in November or October, November, December, I don't even remember. So I'm gonna take a few days off because I'm traveling to see my very, very sick mother. I'm bringing my kids, so that's the reason. Okay, now God bless, love yourself, love your family, and have a great weekend. Bye.